What's up, guys? We're back. We're talking fantasy. Let's not feed around the bush. Let's start it. Good morning, evening, or afternoon. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the XP Podcast. This is finally our fantasy special part 2. I am your host, Mike Z, and joining me along this quest is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Big Daddy DJK. What's going on, man?
Not much. What's going on?
Oh, just hanging out, wiping the floor with my competitors here in this league, but we'll get into that momentarily. Also joining us in his triumphant return to the XP Podcast, rolling through life without a care in the world, the self-proclaimed pinball himself, Worthy Morgan. How you going? How you going? What the fuck am I talking about? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Not too bad. Haven't talked to you in a while. How's life? How's the full house over there?
Busy and chaotic as always.
Sounds like you got kids, so that's why I'm still childless.
Oh,
Speaking of kids,
sure, that's why.
yeah, that's why. It's not that I'm a terrible human being and no one wants to be with me ever, but speaking of kids, how's the kid on your end? Has he shit on you yet? She shit on you yet?
She's come close a few times. I get spit up on more a lot though, so but yeah, we're pretty good at not avoiding getting shat on, so
Hey, you know what?
So that's been a relief.
That's a win in my book. So all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the Fantasy Special, a mini-series where all of us here at the XPerience Point sit down throughout the year and talk about our fantasy league for video games, all the new releases, how they scored, and any new games that we added to our teams throughout the year. If you are enjoying this episode, please do us a favor and check out the regular XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where Logan and myself, and sometimes DJ, sit down with y'all and talk about all the new stories and happenings inside and out of the video game world. We post a new episode each and every week, so you can listen to it whenever you want. You can find us on most of the popular podcasting services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. If you're enjoying what we're doing here on the XPerience Point and XP Podcast, please support us on our Patreon, where you can be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinion on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You'll also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below, or you can simply go to patreon.com and search XPerience Point, spelled capital X, capital P, ERIENCEPOINT. However, if you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry, we still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of what is hopefully a growing community. You can also go over to our YouTube channel, where you can find this show and all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we decide to post it. New episode reminders for you. We just posted episode 22, part 2 of the XP Podcast. It is where we go through the news and talk about a couple things. KOTOR is back. Congratulations. Let's celebrate. The PlayStation got a little bit more expensive. You can listen to Logan and I argue about that. It's probably, hopefully entertaining. And then also there's some weird shit happening at EA, so we get into that as well. Also, part 1 of last week's episode goes through all of Gamescom opening night live, everything that it had to offer. Logan and I break it down and give you our opinions on everything. With all that out of the way, let's get into the show. And as always, we begin with What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing, whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, or comics. It doesn't matter to us, because we like it all and love to talk about it. So, Mr. New to the show, haven't been here for a while, Worthy Morgan, let us know what you've been doing, man.
Oh, I've been playing Destiny too. I got back into that finally.
That was coming.
Yeah, new expansion just came out, Lightfall. You've been playing that?
Yeah.
You've been enjoying it?
It did not come out yet. It comes out in February.
I'm dumb, just kidding. I don't know a lot about Destiny.
I did pre-order the collector's edition of that, though.
Oh boy.
It's been really hard to get back into it with no one else to play with, but I've enjoyed it a lot here lately. Actually, probably after this, I'm probably gonna go play it. And then, oh, what was the movie? Oh, I watched the Suicide Squad, and
Hold up, hold
really
up,
did not
hold up.
like it.
I was gonna say, strap in, DJ, because you're about to be befuddled. Go ahead, Worthy.
I didn't like it at all. I could, I just, I don't.
You're talking the newer one, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the newer one.
Okay, I don't have a comment because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I thought you. Well, my bad. Never mind. I thought you were like I was befuddled because I quite enjoyed it, but then I was even more befuddled by the fact that he said that he liked the first Suicide Squad better than this one.
Yeah, well, it's worthy.
Mm.
Hey, you know what, Worthy? I appreciate your opinions, however wrong they may be. You're welcome to voice them at any time.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. Anything else? That was short. You haven't been on for a while. Anything else you want to say? You've been doing? Playing any other games? You beat anything lately?
No, really, that's the only thing I played. I played a little bit of it's the Hunt Showdown. I did play a little bit of that.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only other game I
That game
played.
got awful reviews.
It's all right. It can be really buggy though, and doesn't look so great
Well,
right now. But
shit happens sometimes, right? Especially this year. All right,
yeah,
Mr. Thor Kage, Big Daddy D. What you been doing, man?
Well, as you know, after we recorded last time, I was attacked by a bat in this very room.
It was one of the most entertaining 20 minutes of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
Totally, like, for some reason didn't dawn on me that my tablet had a microphone built in. So like the cats come to the door and I'm like busy playing Stray and we're talking, and all of a sudden like the cats come like flying up to the doorway but stop, and all of a sudden a bat like swoops and I'm like, oh shit, go into panic mode, like try to keep the cats out of here because like I didn't need one of them getting bit and getting rabies or something. And I was like, I don't want to get bit. So I was like, all right, like slam into overdrive, get it all taken care of. Lena comes up, she helps me. And I'm pretty sure you heard her at one point yell at me to put my $200 Disney World lightsaber down because I
Oh,
had
I heard
that
it all, brother.
because I was poking at my little curtains I have. Like it's like a little like quarter curtain or whatever the hell, like a decoration one. And it was up in there. So I'm just poking along that with a lightsaber, and then it comes out while I'm still holding the bed sheet that I was gonna try to catch it with in my hands and the lightsaber. So I'm trying to like corral it in this thing in the bed sheet while also still holding the lightsaber. And she's like, put down the goddamn lightsaber before you break it. And just yeah, that was quite the entertaining night.
The
So
best the best part of it was Lena texted me letting me know that you were in a life or death situation fight with a bat, and I was like, okay, cool. I hope he survives. Oh, it was great. It was awesome.
yeah,
Anything
that
else?
was
You been playing anything? You watch anything?
um
Did you get a chance to check
well,
out She-Hulk? Maybe.
I have not yet. I've been seeing clips here and there, and I'm interested. I'll probably start watching it over this holiday weekend. Um, in between all like 4 or 5 fantasy drafts I have for football. Um, we actually sat down and watched in the last like week and a half. We watched the 4 OG Batman movies, the two Michael Keaton, the Val Kilmer, and the George Clooney one.
Yeah, the two good
Um,
ones and the two shit ones.
all right.
All right.
Batman Forever isn't it's okay.
No,
It's
no, no.
definitely number 3 out of those 4 because the George Clooney one is just
One of the worst movies ever made. Yes, I agree.
so bad.
No, but I do agree with you. I was being funny. I don't hate Batman Forever as much as other people is. The older I've gotten, the more it's let's say I don't know how to phrase it, but the more that's flaws have come out to me. Old bat nipples
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah, like
The
I
bat
always
nipples and the
remember
bat
like that
cheeks.
being the big complaint about George Clooney's, and it's like they were doing that with Kilmer already. Like, so don't just put that on Clooney. Clooney had the fucking Batman fucking credit card. Like,
Yeah.
now that was just what the fuck.
No, my big complaint on Forever is the fact that just the characters aren't good at all. Like
the fact that Jim Carrey is the Joker dressed as the Riddler for like half of it.
I wouldn't even go that far. Jim Carrey's just Jim Carrey dresses the Riddler.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
I don't even know what the fuck Tommy Lee Jones was doing as Two-Face. I guess he was just having a ball or something.
Yeah, that was
And then Robin
her. Yeah, her
sucks.
and I were just like that was. Yeah, and that was too. It was like it's not awful. It's just over the top for Robin, and just very like rebel teenager. And I'm just like, it's like looking back on it, it's like, of course that movie came out in like what, like 95, I think.
Yeah,
Like
95, and then I
o-
think
of
Robin came out
of
in 98.
Yeah.
course that's why he was like that. Like it just, oh. And then like to because Lena's rewatching not Gilmore Girl, Gossip Girl, and is just like watching that, like though, like, so that takes place, we were all like seniors in high school, I think, when the show like starts for them, maybe. Or are they own?
What do you mean, like the year Gossip Girl came out?
No, like when it takes place, because it takes place like 2009 to 2012, I think. So I think like technically some of them would have graduated like the year before us, but they're all like in upper high society New York, like,
Yeah,
and we were talking, like me
the
and her
Upper
were
East
talking about it,
Sides.
they're most of them are all like 18, 19, 20, and are getting plastered at bars, and we're like I know they're in high society, but like you're telling me none of these bars are like, hey, we don't give a fuck if you've got 10 grand. Like, you know how hard it is to get a fucking liquor license in New York? Get the fuck out of here. Like, just shitting on it, and just, but, my God, is Blake Lively fucking hot?
Yeah. We don't objectify women here on the Experience Point, but yeah, she is very attractive. Hey, we don't outwardly like we say things are attractive or not, but yeah, I totally agree with you. She's smoking. Hey, Leighton Meester though, let me tell you, old Blair Waldorf. She may be a raging bitch in the series, but yeah. Oh, don't. I've watched Gossip Girl in its entirety, so
I ruined Blair for myself because I think she looks like Jake's wife Taylor a little bit.
oh, okay. We'll see. Advantage of me not being super close to them. I don't have to worry about that. But yes, the
Oh
first episode debuted in September of 2007. The final episode in December of 2012.
yeah.
Hey, Gossip Girl's great, man. I much rather prefer One Tree Hill, evidenced by the fact that I've seen it 3 times in its entirety. But yeah,
Well, let me know when you're on my office level numbers. I've gone through the office fully. I believe I'm on 23 times now.
okay, I'll never do that because I don't watch too much TV and all that anymore. I watch movies and I play video games and I go to the gym. That's literally my life. That's all I
Yeah,
do anymore.
I should do that more, but
uh, that's always the best. Like I should go to the gym, but I'm gonna eat some ice cream instead.
yeah.
Hey, I have those days, man. Ain't no big deal. No one gives a shit. I don't care. I go to the gym because I like it, not because I want to like look good or anything like that. I just like working out. That's all it is. The uh the equation of that is I do get in better shape, but that's not why I do it. Okay. Anything else, man?
No, I really haven't had a chance to play games just because I've been down helping with the daughter. So I've been like playing mobile games, and I thought about firing back the old Switch, and I actually thought about putting Fortnite on it, but I feel like I'm gonna run into more hardcore players or little kids on, and get wrecked by little kids on Switch than I am playing on PlayStation. So I was like, let's hold back on that. And I've got a few games on there, but I've just been playing Pokemon TCG online, and that's pretty much all I've been playing the last couple of weeks since we last talked. I'm hoping to get back on this weekend and play Stray or finish that up, or maybe do something. Maybe play some multiverses.
Hey, I'd be game for multiverses. I'm off on Saturday, so and then see Sunday when I get off work, Logan and I are recording the episode, and then when Peyton gets back home, um, well, she just told me she probably won't be back by Monday. I don't know why she walked in here and then whispered very awkwardly to where I had to be quiet to listen to her while I was talking. But anyway, so when she gets back, I'll jump into The Last of Us Part 1. She wants me to play through it for her so she can play Part 2. So yeah, I can't wait for that. All the
Saturday.
all the negative press and everything coming out of it, don't care. It's The Last of Us. It's one of my favorite games I ever made. I can't wait to play it. So, what were you saying, Worthy?
Saturday's actually $3 movies at movie theaters.
Yeah, I thought about going to
National
watch
Cinema.
something too, because it's National Cinema Day.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. What's in movie theaters right now? Let me check that out real
That's
quick.
that's what I'm. That's what I plan on doing. Is actually trying to. I'm gonna watch the new Dragon Ball movie.
Why?
When
I either thought about going to see that or going to see if I can find a big theater that still has Top Gun playing.
Mm-hmm.
I could go see Top Gun. Top Gun's still in theaters in where I live, but there's not a lot out. There's
It's in.
the Invitation looks pretty good. Beast, which I heard okay things about. Then Thor, Top Gun, and Spider Man. Wait, Spider Man? What the fuck?
Yeah, Spider-Man's
Yeah.
being re-released for like the more fun stuff version or something like that.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna go see it again. I may go and give Top Gun another watch because if those of you who haven't listened to us at all, I know Worthy hasn't been on in a while, but Top Gun is one of my favorite movies of all time. Top Gun Maverick. It is a phenomenal movie. It blew me away in the theater the first time. It blew me even more away the second time when I saw it in IMAX. It's honestly a masterpiece, and I say that with no ironicness in my voice. Ironicness with no irony in my voice at all. So yeah, if you get a chance, DJ, definitely go and see Top Gun. Worthy too.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I think it's on to me now. Well, you guys know I sent you guys the video early today. Finally, after what felt like forever grinding it out, I have platinumed Cult of the Lamb. It took me way longer than I thought. There was a lot of hiccups in the game and a lot of glitches and some other things and just difficult trophies in general, but I finally persevered, got through it, popped the platinum today after beating the boss. So I'm glad to get that knocked out of the way. TV, I was talking to Worthy earlier. Started watching House of Dragons. Peyton and I saw the first 2 episodes, and I can say it's absolutely phenomenal so far. It's peak Game of Thrones era. Like we were talking, I was like, it's not even Game of Thrones season 1 because that was still kind of trying to find its footing. We jumped right in, and it felt like I was watching the third or fourth season of Game of Thrones in terms of like quality, character writing, set design, overall look and direction. It's great so far. I can't wait. And then today, so I'll probably watch it tomorrow. Honestly, after we get off of this, Rings of Power comes out. So it's a good time. Got a lot of stuff to watch. Got a lot of stuff to do. But other than that, just kind of been chilling, hanging out, watching some YouTube, doing a lot of stuff back scenes with the podcast. So, anything else, fellas?
The only I can't. Her and I'll probably start watching both of those this weekend because we'll need stuff to do on Sunday and Monday. Um, the biggest criticism I've heard about House of Dragons is so far it's been phenomenal, but then when you really think about it, you know that no matter how good it's gonna be, Bran is still gonna end up the king at the end of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but it's like that's like that's like with anything. Like you watch Star Wars Episode 5. You watch Empire Strikes Back. Ooh, you know how all this ends, and it sucks the way it ends, but like that doesn't take away from the quality of the movie at all or anything like that.
No.
So I don't exactly like that argument. That's just people complaining for the sole sake of complaining in my eyes, which I guess we all do anymore. What? But all right. Anything else we've been going on, guys? Worthy? DJ?
No, not
Um,
too much.
yeah, nothing I can think
No,
of.
I'm gonna watch a shit ton of movies tomorrow. But I mean, not tomorrow. Saturday.
You got some lined up? What
Yeah.
are you planning? Top Gun? Eh?
I didn't have Top Gun planned. I had Dragon Ball. The kids were gonna go watch the was it? It's Super Pets.
Yeah, DC League,
While I was
Super Pets.
watching, yeah, while I was watching Dragon Ball. Then we had plans to watch the Minions movie,
Don't,
The Gru.
don't.
It's for the kids,
Yes, I know.
unfortunately.
But don't. Go watch Top Gun, man, instead. The kids can watch Top Gun too. There's nothing overly adult. I mean, there's some pretty deep thematic things, but there's nothing like gory or graphic or anything like that in that movie.
Yeah,
I guess spoiler alert, I guess, but like it's not like dudes getting ripped in half on the screen or anything. It's not people fucking or anything like that.
yeah.
Well, that was
That's
coarse.
what you
Or
think.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen the movie twice, so
and we
Oh,
thought about watching the new Thor movie in theaters.
don't. I'm just kidding.
It
uh,
com- it comes out on Disney Plus on the 8th.
yeah.
So
Save your money. Go watch Top Gun. Watch Thor on Disney Plus. But that's just a recommendation. I'm not telling you what to do because you're a grown ass man. You can do whatever you want. Speaking of grown ass men, segue. That doesn't really make any sense. We're gonna go in now, if we're all done, the topic of the show, which is a fantasy year in review and update. It's pretty much what it's gonna be. Just chill out, have a conversation. I'm gonna go to each of these guys, have them tell you guys a little bit of what they've been doing behind the scenes with their fantasy league and some of the games they've added, some of the games they've lost, what they overall think of this first year of us doing this, and just kind of hang out, talk about some video games for a little bit, and then we'll get you. After that, we're gonna do some counter picks, a second counter picks of the year, and then we'll get out of here and we'll leave you guys the rest of your day. So, excuse me, Mr. Big Daddy DJ Thor Kage, tell us a little bit about your year so far.
I went too big too quick, for sure. Um, like I'm trying to think. Most of my pickups I got, um, Skull and Bones, Sons of Forest, and Warhammer were not really. I don't want to say shot in the darks. Sons of Forest and Skull and Bones are ones that I'd seen previews and beta testing, like clips of here and there, and I've been excited for them. I'm happy I got those. Um, I don't even remember if I threw a bid on Stray. I know I did Cult of Lamb, but you had like all your money, and I'm like trying to save money for this very end, so
You
I
know,
got
so
screwed there.
Stray was the first game I added after the draft. So we did our
Mm.
draft, and then I immediately put $1 bids on Stray and Mars. So I got a total of 28 points for $2.
Um,
I should be the GM of a football team with that shit.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that like that was one that made me kind of mad because Logan nabbed it just because he had way more money to throw at it because he's like it'll do decent enough. It's a Pokemon game, but I was like high on it. Like I think it's gonna get above a 90. Um,
You think it's
and
going
he's
that
just
high,
like, eh,
huh?
whatever. I think it's gonna be at least a 90, if not a 91. There's just so much. There's only one or two things that kind of scare me on it right now. Just having seen some of the designs for the new ones. Like they just announced another graffiti Pokemon today. That thing looks pretty dope. Just seeing the list, not seeing the names of the Pokemon or like what they're gonna look like, but just seeing their descriptions, like what animal they're based off of. That's got me hyped. So I was mad I lost out on that one. Um, High on Life. I've been seeing clips for that for like a year now. Never knew the name of it. And then during GameCom this last week, it got announced, so I jumped on it. And I jumped on were these snaps for me? Sonic Frontier, because that actually looked like it might not be just a dog turd in a paper bag lit on fire anymore.
No, it
So
just
I
looks
was
like a
like, oh
dog turd in a paper bag.
yeah. So I was like, I'll try Sonic Frontiers because I was kind of as a just to fill a spot, and maybe it'll surprise us all. And I was like, I think High on Life is gonna do between, I think it's gonna be close to 85. I don't know if it'll be quite that high, but I think it'll do decent. It was like, couple bucks. Watched it. Checked it Friday when I got home from work, and I don't know if my screen just didn't reload for me, but I thought I still had it then. And then we went out of town for a wedding, and I checked Saturday morning, and it said I still had them both, or maybe I just didn't realize it said I didn't have one of them. And then you guys are talking about it I was on the drive home that night, and you guys are talking about the next morning, and I was like, oh, I'm like, wait, what's going on? Lost both of them. I was so mad because those were like, especially because I don't even know how many of my I've had, like we talked about before we hopped on, um Sons of Force got pushed back to next year now. I'm pretty sure there's still no official update or release date even mentioned for Advance Wars reboot. So I don't think that's coming anytime, because that's one I don't think they're just going to do a digital release. I think they're going to do a digital and a physical. So it's like I don't see that coming out anytime soon. And
I mean,
just
we still got to get a new Switch showcase. I forgot what they call that.
yeah,
But I expect it to be there, and we'll probably see the release date there.
I'm hoping it's for Christmas, just because I really can't afford, like, up until, let me look at your list quick. Up until like 2 Point Stray, and I think it was Moss came out, and Cult of Land came out, I was like, I have a pretty good shot at holding you off for a while. And then Advance Wars became up in the air. Hogwarts got pushed back to next year. And then it was like, oh, okay. And then a bunch of your games hit for 84, and I was like, oh, okay. None of us are gonna win this. This is Mike's to lose now. Because I mean, like, Worthy had a few decent ones. Kirby and St. Rose shit the bed for him, so that kind of sucked. Um, I don't know what Logan's doing. That just
Hey, he's doing all right, man. Leave the guy alone. He's got 3 points, 4 points, 2 points here and there. He's doing okay. It's our
Switch Sports is still the most why like
first round pick.
way to
Switch Sports.
way, way to take a 10th way to take a 4th round running back as the number 1 overall pick. Like that was just I think like all three of us were just like what? Like
I
that
would do.
wasn't
I was so befuddled. Those of you out there, go back and listen to my reaction to him picking Nintendo Switch Sports with his first pick. I was just like, what?
he says that you're like what the hell are you talking about? And me and Worthy are like, we were picking that for like 5 rounds. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I want to make sure I got it. And we're like, yeah, you could have waited 3 picks, my guy. That was that was quite the surprise. But yeah, I so far like this has been really cool. I've explained it to a couple of the buddies that are actually I think younger than us at work. Um, I'm hoping I can get them to actually listen to some of the episodes. Um, I like this has been a cool thing. Um, like you said, you might try to revamp the counter pick system. Trying to think if there's anything else I would really want to like change about how we went about stuff. Like the only thing I can think of is like we're gonna have to do this like the second
Well, yeah,
week
that
of
was like,
January this
yeah.
year.
Preferably, don't wait till March to do it. That's our first goal this coming year.
Because I think there's already 1 or 2 big games the end of January, first couple weeks of February. So it's like we
Yeah.
basically gotta do this like almost like if none of us are doing anything, like we should almost try to do this like the weekend of New Year's.
Well, if everything works out the way I'm planning, it'll be we do an end of year, uh, you know, game of the year. We give out our awards. We do all that stuff, and then we take like a week or so break or anything like that. And then yeah, first week of January, first episode of the new year will be the Fantasy Special 2 Part 1. That's what I'm planning at least. Hopefully it all works out.
January 1st is on a Sunday.
So yeah,
Mm.
first on a Sunday. I mean, I don't do anything for New Year's. I'm boring. So
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we usually just go to her dad's, but that's like we do that New Year's Eve, and then we usually spend the whole day here. So yeah, I think I'd be down to do it that Sunday.
yeah. Well, for a recap, Mr. DJ, first round pick, he picked up Horizon Forbidden West. Got 88 points. That's wrong. Scored an 88. Got him 18 points. And so far, he's got Ghostwire Tokyo 77 for 7 points. Tunic 85 for 5 points. Tiny Tina's Wonderland 78 for 8 points. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming in big, 88 for 18 points. Sniper Elite 5, 78 for 8 points. Weird West 75 for 5 points. And then you have still left to come out Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Skull and Bones, Sons of the Forest, which just got delayed unfortunately, and then Warhammer 40k Darktide, which has already got delayed once. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed again. So
Yeah, I saw that. I think they're talking the couple weeks of Christmas now, and hopefully Advance Wars comes out. Um, I'm like fingers crossed that Call of Duty doesn't get reviewed as a Call of Duty game because like I'm pretty sure those average mid 80s, give or take. I'm hoping this one is as mind blowing as they're saying it's gonna be, and it can pull me like a 90. Because realistically, I'm sitting 26 points behind you, and you still have God of War coming out. Not to mention Callisto Protocol and Overwatch and some of your other games. Like it is gonna be hard to catch you. Like at this
I've
point,
had a pretty
it
good
feels
year.
like like it's like we're playing for second place because and honestly, I feel like it's between me and well, I don't want to say between me and Worthy, but I mean,
Worthy
uh,
was in the running until old Kirby and Saints Row over there, but we'll get to him in a second.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean,
but yeah,
I think overall you've actually done pretty darn well. You got hit with a couple rough delays, and up until Sons of the
yeah,
Forest, you were able to get rid of them, and no one counterpicked them. Unlike me, I'm sitting here with Redfall with 0 points because old Logan had a counterpick on that one. Counterpicking an Xbox exclusive, fake fanboy over there.
yeah,
But yeah, I think you've had a pretty darn good year. I mean, the only games that your lowest games is 75, got you 5 points. You've had 2 games, get you 18 points, and then you had another game at 15. Like I think you honestly, for our first year doing this, and someone who's not on the podcast full time like me or Logan or anything like that, who doesn't get the consistent updates of release dates and trailers and all that mumbo jumbo, you've done pretty darn well. I've been impressed. You've been hanging in there. I mean, you and I were neck and neck for a while, and just I've managed that. All but one of my games have scored over 80. So just
yeah,
not really luck of the draw. I mean, I think I've played a pretty good year, but overall, I'd say you've done very well, and you still got 3 games to add, so you still got tons of wiggle room, in my opinion.
yeah. It's got to be one of those. It's like it's rough because like you can't really go based on what the site has for games like available or anything like that because like some of those are ones that I don't think are gonna do good, or like their system is like, yeah, it's gonna get the average like guess for it is like 5 points, and it's like, yeah, that's not gonna get me shit. Like, but we'll see. I'll probably dive into GameStop or GameSpot or Game Informer, just some of their lists that they have coming out for the rest of the year. See if there's anything that piques my interest that I can kind of salvage and put some more pressure on you towards the end of this thing for this year
Well,
before I just start looking forward to next year.
I would give you the website that I get all my games releases and updates from, but I'm a fairly competitive person, so I'll show you that in January. All right, let's head on over to Mr. You know what? Actually, never mind. He's not here, so let me recap things for him. The Birdman himself, Mr. Logan Bergman, also known as the Game Pass publication. I'll recap a little bit of his year for you real quick. Like we said, Nintendo Switch Sports was his first round pick, and that got him a whopping 1 point. So coming out ahead, just like the New York Football Giants. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, 82 for 12 points for him. Mario Strikers Battle League, 73 for 3 points. Evil Dead the Game, 74 for 4 points. Live Alive or Live a Live or however the F you want to say it, 81 for 11 points. Destroy All Humans 2, Reprobe, 68 for negative 2 points. And The Last of Us Part 1, 88 so far. Officially, it'll come out tomorrow at the time of recording. At the time of posting, it'll already be out for you guys listening. And that should get him 18 points. Still yet to score, he's got Splatoon 3, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Sports Story, Evil West, and High on Life. And then for well, I'll get to the counter picks later. So far, yeah, it's been he kind of went pretty Nintendo heavy, and for all the love that we throw at Nintendo here, which now that I'm thinking about it, isn't actually that much, but they're an amazing company. They do a great job, but their games don't always score well outside of like the Breath of the Wilds and the 3D Marios and some of those other things. A lot of the sports games and mid-tier games tend to trend more towards the mid-70s and all that. So I think he's learned that, and we'll see what he does next year. But so far, what? I don't think he was. I don't think he was talking to me.
I was saying Kirby with the Forgotten Land scored pretty high.
I haven't gotten to you yet.
Oh,
I'm
I
talking.
was just talking about Nintendo game scoring.
That's true.
normally
Yeah.
average,
Okay. That's
so-
true. Yeah. So correction. My apologies, Worthy, interrupting me like that. So yeah, I think overall he's done pretty decent. He is sitting in last place right now at 29 points, but he's still got quite a few games to come out still. Let's see. He has had 6 games come out compared to DJ's 7 and my 8. So yeah, I guess never mind. 80 to 29 and 106 to 29. Oh well. There's always next year, right, Giants? All right. Moving on now to the pinball himself, Worthy Morgan. You have had a very interesting fantasy year here. So go ahead and, well, before I walk it over to you, I'll give a rundown. So you picked Elden Ring with your number 1 pick, which can only be described as the best pick of all time. 95 on Metacritic. Sorry, OpenCritic, giving you 31 points right out the bat. You went straight into Total War Warhammer 3 after that, 86 for 16 points. And then you followed it up pretty closely with Kirby and the Forgotten Land, 85 for 15 points. So coming out the dugout fucking swinging, my man. You hit 3 straight home runs. You're Albert Pujols in this bitch. And then I'll let you explain what happened after that. But the game so far, Kirby's Dream Buffet, 66 for negative 4 points. Saints Row, 65 for negative 5 points. And Pac-Man World Repack so far sitting at a 71 for a grand total of 1 point. So take it away, sir. Tell the audience the journey that you have gone on so far this year in the Fantasy Critic League.
Well, I started out really good, really hot, really confident, but I cared to remember I need to pick up games, and when I picked up games. Was it 2 weeks ago? Or was it 3?
It's 2 or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3. And I just got caught basically with my pants down for the most part in it. Easy way to say it. Scrambled to get games, and I took 2 big L's on on 2 of them. I thought would do decent at least.
Hey, in my personal defense, I kept talking to DJ about it. Be like, hey man, have you been in contact with Worthy? Is he gonna do the league? What's going on? And DJ was like, oh yeah, I talked to him. I think DJ's blowing smoke up my ass, trying to get an easy win out of it on that one. But you gonna defend yourself?
Nah, it happens. I don't remember, honestly. It happens. It's something I should have paid attention to, honestly.
But
My
overall,
fault.
I mean, what's your experience so far
Overall,
this year? You enjoying it?
oh,
You
I
having fun?
enjoyed it. Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. It helps me stay in the game loop with games coming in and out, which games are gonna be good, which games are not. I enjoy that portion because I don't. It's hard for me to keep up with the video games with being working constantly and all 4 kids, and it's hard to stay on track. And I get home so late. I got like only 2 hours to 3 hours to do anything. So it helps me stay on track, but I do have some confidence in some of these games I have. Shovel Knight, and I'm having a little bit more faith in Sonic Frontier, hopefully. There's some on there I don't, but I do have, well, I have Bayonetta and
I was gonna
Gotham
say,
Knights. I
yeah,
think they're both of them should do good.
I have a lot of faith in you for Bayonetta 3. The second one scored phenomenally. I mean, 10 years ago at this point. And then Gotham Knights, Logan and I talk about it all the time. I am confident that it's going to be an enjoyable game. Obviously, the press surrounding it and the world around of it is kind of misconception or nomenclature or however fancy word you want to say. People don't really understand what it is, or if they do understand, they've already made uh, I'm speaking out of my ass here. They already had an idea of what the game was going to be, and then it turns out it's not what most people thought it was going to be. A la, it's not Marvel's Avengers, it's not Destiny. It really is a narrative-driven game focused on the single-player aspect that you happen to be able to play co-op all the way through if you want to. And for some reason, people just don't see that. They see, oh, it's got a gear system, you know. It's
Yeah.
it's Destiny. I'm like, well, there's a lot of things. God of War had a gear system that had levels and stats and everything. And God of War, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know out there, is not Destiny. It is not Marvel's Avengers. But just wanted to update anybody out there who is a little behind on the gaming knowledge. So I am very confident in Gotham Knights. I'm excited. I'm gonna play it. Maybe not day one because there's a lot coming out at that time. But I think it's going to score pretty darn well for you. I think it'll be an easy 10 points at least, unless I'm completely wrong and the game is obviously garbage. But yeah, I think you got some good in here, obviously some bad. When you told me you wanted Kirby's Dream Buffet, I was very confused, but hey, I put it on there and I let you do you, man. So, but
Yeah, I had hope that it was one of those games that everybody can just sit down and play online, and it's like Fallout, guys. I thought it might do something like that, be score decently, at least get me some points, or just give me zero, one of the two instead of negative.
yeah, well, that's one thing I've tried to kind of help Logan along, and I talked to DJ a little bit about this too, and um it's hard, but like sometimes you kind of got to separate yourself from your fandom. And what we're doing here is really just trying to figure out what games are going to score well and what games aren't. And sometimes I have to remove my own hype or fandom for a game to do that. Now it's worked out that a lot of the games that I'm excited about, I put on my list and they seem to have scored well so far. But like Rollerdrome is a game that I had um, no reason to play. I probably wasn't going to play it, but I had faith that it was going to score fairly well, so I snatched it up. And that's just kind of sometimes how you have to do it. Overwatch 2, while I've become kind of less confident in that one as time's gone on, I still think it's going to score decently well. I'm definitely not going to play that at all. But
Hmm.
it's one of the games that I think it's going to score pretty well. So that's kind of like it's like a balancing act in this. You got to figure out what you think a game's going to do, and then also what the critics who are reviewing this game, which ultimately gives it its score, how they are going to receive this game. So it does require a little bit of knowledge about the industry and knowledge about how people score games and what some of these reviewers look for in games. But all that will come with time, man. We got next year, we got the year after that, and we got all the way up until 89, Crumbly talking about video games on a spaceship being beamed into the cloud.
Yep.
That went off the rail. So, anything else you want to say about your list? Anything else you're excited for? Any changes you would do next year? Obviously, maybe not wait
Oh,
till August to fill your list, but that's just an idea, maybe.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely not wait till then. I'll be definitely more into it ever since everything's more settled down in my life, crazy wise, other than the kids. But that'll come hopefully with time. But
Yeah.
I'll be more into it next year, that's for sure.
Well, hey, we'll be here for you and we'll be along for the ride, and so are the audience, hopefully. I'll detail my list real quick. Starting off, I snagged God of War Ragnarok with my first round pick because DJ passed on it. I don't remember if I convinced you to pass on it or what happened there. I forgot exactly what went down.
I I was very torn on whether I should do Horizon or because you did the randomizer and it was like me, you, me, Logan, Worthy, me, and I was like, oh my god, like I was hoping it was gonna be you then me for first second. That way I was like, he can pick and then I'll just get the leftover instead of me like, oh my god, who should I pick? Like fantasy football wise, like the last couple years it's been I've gotten a first round pick and it's should I take Christian McCaffrey or should I take Saquon? And then I flip a coin, and back to back years that's happened to me where I've gotten the first round pick, I flipped the coin, and the coin has screwed me. One year I got Saquon and he blew out his knee, and the other year I got CMC and he got bad injury. So it's like I gotta stop flipping coins and just
Oh.
go. And you were like, just take Horizon. You know you want to, and I was like, should I though? And then you're like, just come on, just do it. And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll take it. And then you're like, yeah, I've God of War. Like I don't even think there was. I think if you go back and listen, I'm pretty sure it was like a. And with pick number 2, I'm taking God of War, and it's
Yeah,
like,
it was
oh
no.
man,
Well, that
like
was my
it
number
was.
one. So if I was a number one pick, I would have got God of War. So I think the only hiccup we had back then was we weren't, and nobody was honestly, truly convinced that the game was actually going to come out this year. There's still people out there that don't believe it's going to come. This game's coming out, folks. We're going to get it in 6 weeks. No, that's wrong. 10 weeks. Is it really 10 weeks? Jeez, I gotta wait so long for it. Jesus. Um, but yeah, the game's coming out this year, so I think that was one of the biggest hiccups you were fighting with. You're like, is God of War going to come out? Or I know Horizon's coming out pretty
Like
quickly,
it was
so
for sure Horizon's coming out.
yeah.
Like so, it's like maybe I should just jump on that, and then it was back and forth and back and forth, and you're like, hey man, like you know Horizon's coming out, and it's like, yeah, I know for sure that's coming out. Like yeah, I was like, I gotta play it safe. I'm taking that. And then you're like, yep, well, I'm gonna roll the dice because I'm pretty sure it's coming out. So
So let's hope. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Not just for my fantasy league, just for all the gamers out there that the game is as good as we all think it is going to be and we all want it to be. With my second pick, I went ahead and stuck with the old Sony train and grabbed a Gran Turismo 7, which scored an 87, giving me 17 points. Then I jumped over to the Nintendo side of things and picked up Triangle Strategy, 83 for 13 points on that one. And then I jumped again, went over to the Xbox side, picked up Redfall, which scored me 0 points because it got delayed, and Logan counterpicked it like a douche. Then I stuck with the old Xbox thing, went on Plague Tale Requiem. That game is yet to come out. I'm excited about it. Probably going to score pretty well. Then I went overhead and got 2 Point Campus, 84 points for 84 for 14 points. And that was, oh yeah, and then finally I picked up Stray, which we all know. You've listened to the review. Hopefully, if you haven't, go over to our YouTube page, go over to our Patreon page, check out DJ and I's in-depth review for Stray. It is a phenomenal video game. That got an 84, giving me 14 points, and then keeping that train going, I picked up Moss Book 2, another 84 for 14 points. Then I snagged the Koi, which is my lowest scored game. I stole that one from Logan. I waited for him to put it on his list, and then I snagged that right out of him. That got me 79 points. I keep doing that. That scored at 79, got me 9 points. Then I snagged Cult of the Lamb from DJ, waited till he put it up there, put down more money, got it. That got me an 85 for 15 points. And finally, I grabbed Rollerdrome, like I said, 80 score for 10 points. My yet to be releases, as previously stated, God of War Ragnarok, A Plague Tale Requiem, the Callisto Protocol, Overwatch 2, and then recently I picked up New Tales from the Borderlands. So overall, obviously I'm very happy with how my year's gone so far. My only quote unquote miss was the Quarry, which still got me 9 points. And I only really picked up that because I didn't want Logan to have it. So that's.
and as far as Redfall, like that game probably would have scored high. It just got pushed back. And like because like when we did our counter picks, like Worthy was like kind of like meh, and you and me were like, why would you counter pick that? Like the only reason to counter pick it is thinking that it wasn't going to come out this year. Like that was the only reason to counter pick Redfall, like at all. That was just still so out of left field, but I mean it worked because it ate up a spot which, as we've seen with your picks, that ate up probably at least 10 points. So not that it mattered in the long run because not like I said, I'm the closest and I'm, almost 30 points behind you and you still have God of War to come out. Granted, I'll probably make up, I think if especially if Warhammer comes out, I think I'll catch you, but I mean, you're about to jump from 26 points ahead of me to probably like 46 points ahead of me, and I don't think Call of Duty is going to make up 60 points.
Now, remember, we saw this with Elden Ring. Once a game hits 90 and above, it starts adding on points. Like, Worthy got 31 points from just those 5 extra points above 90. So he got 11 extra points on top of that. So if God of War comes in at a 91, 92, I'm going to be getting more than 21 or 22 points on that. I'm going to be getting 25, 26 off that.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. I'm also hesitant a little bit because just right now the discourse around some of Sony's sequel games is there's a lot of people that just think they're kind of tired and replay themselves. I am not in that camp. Obviously, we reviewed Horizon Forbidden West. You guys haven't heard that because I still haven't posted it. But DJ and I both really, really love that game. I think it's amazing. I think it improves on what it needed to improve on over the original. And I think it is a fantastic sequel in its narrative and character work. But a lot of people said, hey, it's just more Horizon. And in my head, I was like, well, yeah, what'd you want? did, did you want Horizon Forbidden West to come out and be Overwatch 2? Probably not. I didn't want that. So, but that's a conversation for another time. But anyway, I hope God of War gets over 90, but I still am kind of pausing myself to think if that game comes out at over 90. I want it to, but I'm not convinced it'll hit 90 and above. But so yeah, other than that, like I said, I'm pretty I'm I'm pretty happy with how this year's gone so far. It's all worked out fairly well for me, other than Redfall. But yeah, man, if Redfall wasn't sitting at a 0, I'd be very much in control here. Where still with your 3 gaps open, there's still a chance you can snag up some good stuff and take it home. Let's hope, right?
I hope so, but that's a long shot at this point.
Hey, the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots, so there's always hope. All right. Anything else we wanted to say about how this year's gone so far? How our teams have come together? Anything about some of the strategies you guys have employed when looking at games and trying to figure out things? Any insights about kind of like what you look at when you go to add a game and kind of what you try to see from reviewers?
Well, when I've been looking, the stuff I've been looking up, it's just a lot of them has been um my 2 or 3 small like little areas of algorithm that have been like it's almost like it remembers me watching the stuff on them for like beta or like previews from like when the game was first announced and then the updates, and it's like yep, it looks better, it's almost done, like da 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 da, and it's like okay, well, I kind of keep that in mind, and then like that's what it was with Skull and Bones and Sons of the Forest. Like I said too, it was I didn't think Sonic Frontiers was going to be amazing, but it looked awful the first couple times we saw it. Then it looked a little better, but not much better. And then for the one game con thing I saw, it looked like they really tried to do something with it. So I was like, okay, I'll try to snag it. Obviously, Worthy pulled it out from underneath me, but that happens. Same with High on Life. Like it just it looks like something out of the ordinary, which I feel like has been doing rather good the last couple years. Like especially like we talked about with like Stray was one that people were like, it's just a dumb game about a cat, but like there's a lot of people saying that basically until like I've seen a few people say until God of War officially comes out, Stray might be the game of the year. And it's like that's insane for some people were like, "Oh, it's just a game about a cat." Like it's an awesome game about a cat. So
I'll be honest. People who say stuff like that, oh, it's just a game about a cat. It's just a game about X, Y, Z. Have clearly never played the game because no
yeah,
game can be boiled down to one line. There is countless amounts of layers that build upon each other to create the games that we play. Now, whether those layers are good or bad, that's another conversation entirely. Obviously, that's something that we find out when the game comes out. But nothing can ever be boiled down to a game is just this. There's so many other layers. Perfect example is Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding. A lot of people say that's just a delivery simulator game. And what I would say to that is what you're doing throughout the core aspect of the game. That is the setup to the game. But that setup allows you to go out and explore this world and connect to this world in a way that I frankly think a lot of other games struggle with just by nature of you having to navigate through these landscapes, and then that all builds on top of the story about the world that Hideo Kojima builds. So people who say that game is just a walking simulator, I'm like, I mean, yeah, you walk a lot, but later in the game you get guns, you're building roads, you're connecting this world together, and that's when the whole core concept of what the game is and the strands of the game are come together in my opinion a pretty beautiful way, a pretty poetic way. But so yeah, I don't like people who say it's just that, because no game
yep.
is just one thing. All right, Worthy, any insights to kind of how you've been doing things? Because you added all your games in like a 2 week span, so clearly you had to do a lot of research. Obviously, as we talked about, some of that research backfired, but shit happens. So how did you go about scrambling towards the end here and coming up with some of these games that you've added and now since completed your list?
Oh, most of it is I went off if I've seen it like in the advertisement for the games or anything on social media or anything, and just from knowledge of it, if I've heard the game come across, if come, just game come across really the name of it. That's about how I went about it in that short amount of time,
Hey, short.
and I went off of you know, predict the projected points wise,
Yeah, short.
which has it helped.
Short, simple, to the point. Sounds like a Worthy Morgan way of doing things. Sorry, I hope that wasn't rude. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm fairly simple. You know, when I do it, I look into the game, like you guys have said. I also listen to some of the people that I trust that not necessarily have the same opinions as I do, because that's a kind of dumb way to kind of figure out if something's going to be good or not. But I listen to different opinions on both sides of the book and try to figure out which one I think has a chance of being more right. A perfect example is a little behind the scenes. I I bid on Saints Row 4 different times throughout this year. I didn't put a lot of money on it, but I bid on it 4 different times because I kept seeing it, and it kept being something that I'm like, man, this game is it feels like it might catch somewhere. It feels like it has potential, but something in the back of my head, I kept canceling that bid. I redo it in a couple weeks, cancel that bid, and honestly, I was waiting for someone to make a bid on it, and then I was going to employ the same strategy I did with the Corey and Cult of the Lamb, is jump in there with more money and throw it at it and steal it out from underneath people. But the closer that we got to launch, the more I saw of it. Like I talked to Logan about this, and it's like, man, I don't think it looks good now. Like the more research I've done, the more I've looked at it. It just can every time I see it, it continually looks like a worse and worse game. And luckily for me, I turned out to be right. So I could have been very wrong, very easily. But luckily, my intuition and my guess, I guess, is how I'm going to phrase it, turned out to be correct. So I think that's just what you got to do. You just got to trust yourself sometimes. And so yeah, I added Saints Row 4 different times throughout this whole process, and I kept canceling it because there was that little voice in the back of my head. Sometimes you need to listen to him. Sometimes you definitely don't need to listen to him, but sometimes he helps you out
Yeah.
in situations. So, all right, anything else before we move into the counter picks, fellas?
I guess with also with some of mine, I just took a roll of the dice, try to hit on something, try to catch up.
Yeah. Well, let's hope next year says you're there day one with us. You can fight, and then we can all be kind of battling back and forth. I think that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, it will
Yeah.
be.
Much more fun than having, the Chicago Bears Game Pass over here. Man, I should pick on him. He's not even here. By the way, for those of you who are wondering, Logan is not here because it is his birthday tomorrow. So he is out, what I can only consume or guess to be getting completely hammer-fisted and not being able to walk straight for the next 2 days. So congratulations to him. He's moving up in adulthood, 25 years old. Let's give him a round of applause, folks. Woo! Yeah, you're older.
25. That makes me feel ancient.
Dude, it's only
Yeah.
5 years difference. Chill out. Or 6 years difference, but that's all.
Yeah.
We're not that old yet, DJ. We're getting there, but we ain't there yet. I refuse to believe it. All right, with all that brilliant intuition out of the way, we're going to go now to the counter picks, our final counter picks of the year. Pretty much what we're going to do, I rolled a dice before the episode to figure out the order, and I'm just going to manually add those games in. Like I told these guys beforehand, Logan is not with us, so he told me his counter pick beforehand, and I was just being a really nice friend because it is his birthday and just kind of gave it to him. So he technically got first pick. He went ahead and counter picked DJ's game Skull and Bones. His second counter pick, as we said, was Redfall, going up against my game and ruining my whole year, made me lose probably. So, but yeah, I am going to announce my counter pick. My first counter pick was Dune Spice Wars. It was a pick by Mr. Logan himself. At the time, I had no effing clue what this game was. I hadn't involved myself in the Dune universe yet. I have since throughout this year watched the movie, read a little bit of the book, done a lot of outward research on the grander scope of the universe, and I am now in, not love, but I really, really enjoy Dune, the universe, and I am waiting with bated breath for the sequel that should come out sometime next year. But I feel like I got really lucky on this one because the game seemed like it is actually a pretty darn good game. It just so happened to only come out in early access and not get an official release this year, which put him at 0 points, gave me 0 points for my counter pick, which is actually what you want. You don't want to have to lose any points. So I got lucky on that one. But my second counter pick, my final counter pick for the year, I'm sorry, Worthy. I'm coming right at you. Dragon Ball Breakers. I have zero faith that that game gets anywhere near 75 or 80. Which if I can only lose, under 5 points on a counter pick, that's what I'm going for. So officially, my second counter pick is Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is also a really dumb. Why is it called The Breakers? Did anyone tell me that out there? Why is it not just Breakers?
Because that's
I
Dragon
forget.
Ball.
Fair enough, I guess.
I
Sometimes
don't know,
things can
yes.
just be explained by
Yeah.
just that's the way it is.
I
So
know they gotta run around and try to defuse stuff, collect stuff, and then put it together and try to escape.
I'm fairly confident this game's not gonna be oh, what was that RPG that came out? So the K, I can't remember the name.
Kakarot.
Kakarot, yeah. It was a game I absolutely love. I platinumed it back in the day when it came out. I think it was 2020 or 2019. Don't exactly remember the year. But I'm fairly confident this is not going to be that game. So, to wrap up, I have Dune Spice Wars, which has already guaranteed me 0 points, which is good on a counter pick. And then I am saying that Dragon Ball The Breakers does not score above a 75, and hopefully it scores under a 70. All right. Second up, Mr. Thor Kage, also known as Useless Trivia Incorporated. Your first counter pick is Gotham Knights. I stated that I think you are going to lose some points on that one. But
Yep. When we first did it, I thought I was gonna get a bunch of points. Now, the closer and closer it gets to its release, I think I'm losing points on it.
oh, well, that's all right. Let's see if you can gain some points on your counter pick. So, sir, the floor is yours. What is your second counter pick?
Sorry, Worthy. I'm coming for you.
Oh,
I
man.
know I wanted it for my team, but I'm going Sonic Frontiers.
Oh, there it is. See, I wanted it because I don't think the game's very good. I've made my thoughts on that pretty abundant throughout the year. But I don't know. I was trying to shoot for something that I was convinced wasn't going to score over 75, and there's a faint chance this game might score. over 75. But who the hell knows? No one knows until the game comes out. Speaking of Sonic Frontiers,
Yeah.
before we move on, I wanted to ask you, DJ. You said you hadn't listened to the last couple episodes, which is fine. I'm not mad. Uh, but did you hear about Sonic Frontiers' brilliant decision to release one day before God of War Ragnarok?
I did not, and that's one of those. I've been talking to a guy at work with that. Like, I think that's the main reason Hogwarts Legacy got pushed back, because at this point, like, if you want your game to be a big title for this year, why at this point I would say, you know what, we're just gonna come out next year, because like we've talked, I think we talked about it once or twice. I've been talking about people at work, like, you've got Pokemon, Call of Duty, and God of War coming out yet this year. Like,
All those come out within a 4 week span of each other. Actually,
it,
Call of Duty
yeah,
last week of
like,
October, God of War second week of November, and Pokemon 2 weeks after that. Or actually, just 10 days after that, so a week and a half after that.
like, like, yeah. So it's like, and then honestly, I feel like anything else that's gonna come out is gonna be like, nothing else major should. If I have a major game, or I'm trying to, like, the Sonic games have been dog water for like the last 3 or 4 now. Like, they haven't done good critically. Like, I don't think they've done super great sales wise. Like,
Well, especially the 3D Sonic games. The 2D Sonic
yeah,
games, recently they've been doing a lot of remasters and compilations, and those have been received very well. But yeah, this the first 3D game we're getting, I think, in like 7 or 8 years. I don't exactly remember, but yeah, most of them
and it
have
just
not been received
seems
well.
like, you know, what are you guys doing? Like, you know that game is coming out. Like, and even if God of War did for whatever reason get pushed back to the end of the year, or like, get pushed back a couple more weeks, or even got pushed back to January, like, I just, like, I as much as I wanted Hogwarts to come out this year, I'm glad it got pushed back, because now I can try to take it, hopefully fingers crossed, get it for our next season, and that'll be like the first big hit of the year. But it just, I just was like bewildered when I saw because it's the day before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is November 8th.
Yeah. Like,
Comes up.
it's
Yeah.
like, what are you guys doing? Like,
Well,
I
also,
I know this is Nintendo putting it right. This is Nintendo, just right. It's a
no,
Switch only.
just it's Sega. No, it's coming out on everything.
Oh, then, like, so that's probably why they were like, because, like, I feel like if it was Nintendo only, Nintendo would have been like, hey, like, this is 3 weeks before Pokemon. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not gonna sell well. It's like Sega at this point. It's like, I've heard some people like our age and even a little bit older, like, try to explain to their kids what Sega was, and that, like, for a while, like, it was Sega versus Nintendo, and Nintendo might have been losing, and then, Nintendo just came back with vengeance, and Sega died, and people are like, well, why did Sega die? It's like, because they did shit like this. Like, hey, we're gonna take our, attempt, what, 2 or 3 at a 3D Sonic game, and we're gonna put it up against what is most likely gonna be the game of the year. Like, and we're gonna come out on top. Like, no, like, obviously I don't know if they think they're coming out on top. They're kind of delusional if they think they're coming out on top, but it just, it's like entire bewildering that Sonic Frontier thinks is gonna do, like, and who knows, I might be totally wrong. It might be like with the Sonic movie, where people just shat on it so much that they really went hardcore in the studio, and it's gonna be phenomenal. But sorry, Worthy, I don't think it's gonna be.
Well, considering we've gotten quotes from the director of the game, telling the audience that they just don't understand what the game is, and then he since went on to explain the concept of the game, and he just defined what an open world game was, and I was like, yeah, we know that's what the game is. You just told us exactly what it is. So also in the same breath, don't tell us we don't know what it is. You fuck. Like, I don't know, man. Like we were talking about on last week's episode. Well, no, I guess it was when we did the Gamescom episode because that's when it was revealed. It's like I understand, developers are proud. If you worked on a game, say, you would be proud of what you're working on, and you would want it to be received well, and you don't want to like quote unquote run away or be scared of another game. I get that, but also in the same breath, it's God of War Ragnarok. Like, dude, get the fuck out. Just bail out. Come out next year in April or May when there's not a lot of other things coming out, and maybe you have a better chance of catching an audience and running away with it that way. But there's just gonna be no one playing you. And for those of you out there that kind of argue like, oh, Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok are different audiences, I would ask, really? Are they? Because like I like Sonic. DJ likes Sonic. There's a lot of people out there that like Sonic, but for all those people, other than like the kids, like the young kids that are just now getting into games, are they honestly different people? The people who are gonna play Sonic and play God of War? Because I would argue that they're not really that different. They're probably pretty much in the same camp. So I don't know. I understand why they did it, but if it was me, if I was making this game, I'd be like, hey, look, guys, let's just bail out till next year and let's take some time to maybe make this game the best we
That's
possibly
like
can.
that's like how many movie studios when Marvel announced their next, was it 4 years worth of main movie plans? Which some of that I'm sure will change because who knows what's going to happen. But like, I feel like a lot of movie studios had to have seen that come out and see the rest of Phase 4, all of Phase 5, and all of Phase 6 and go, okay, now we know around this date and around this date, more than likely, we better not even bother putting a movie out because it's going to be this Marvel movie for, that month or whatever. And this seems like that. It just seems like you're, at this point, you're not David taking on Goliath. You're You're a fool hoping to trick
You're David's
people with
pebble.
fool's gold. Yeah.
You're David's pebble that has no control over its own flight path. You're just being thrown out there to go up against Goliath. Um, and it kind of reminds me. There's been a lot of people on like the Reddit pages that I'm on and saying we're like, well, Elden Ring and Horizon came out. I'm like, yeah, it's true. Those were a week apart, and we still saw some impressionable recourse stacked up against Horizon coming out right against Elden Ring. Horizon came out a week before Elden Ring, and that had to affect it in some regard because those are very similar games, And one is clearly better. Like I would say that Elden Ring is probably the better game, man. Considering reviews and opinions and all that. Do I like it more? I've never played it, but I would probably be very confident in the fact that I would not like it more. But those came out a week apart from each other and still had some correlation. So you're gonna sit here and tell me that 1 day gap isn't gonna affect the sales or the performance of Sonic Frontiers? Like if you're sitting there on November 8th and you're like, I could go buy Sonic and play it, but like in 1 day I'm going to be playing God of War, so what's the point? And let's not forget, a day before Sonic, on November 7th, Skull and Bones comes out. And it's like, man, y'all are either brave or everybody knows something that we don't, and that fact being that God of War isn't that great, which I
Yeah,
pulse to believe at.
there's just a lot of that it's like now like I'm kind of in your camp. I don't even like I don't care about Elden Ring, but I mean as as far as that goes, like yeah, it's whatever, but I like you and me for sure. I'll even throw Worthy in there. Like we're very broad in the games we play. Like you and me will play God of War. You and me will play Pokemon. You and me will play Call of Duty. Like we'll get all three of those. Like um if NCAA was coming out this year, we'd be getting that. Like
I
we
would
play
honestly get that
quite
over everything.
like we get a broad thing of games. Like and just and like I'll say it from my standpoint, and I'm sure Worthy's in this too, Mike. Maybe you are. Um, like especially the next, probably going into next year. I'll be on a very limited like budget as far as games goes. So it was like I had to pick and choose. Like I put like you gave me a small list of games. I found a few other like I think it's like 3 or 4 games, maybe 5, all under $20 each. But I instead decided like I played. I don't want to say played chess, well, like with how I picked, but it was get this handful of games, like get this 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 games, or it was get um collector's edition God of War, the 2-pack Pokemon, and then I'll probably order like a day one edition with a bunch of shit for Call of Duty. Like it was get those three or get like 10 or 15 small games in one big game. And I was like, I had to choose like and if it came down to it, like say I wasn't worried about Call of Duty or Pokemon, like say I went to the game store and it's like Lena was like, "You're getting one game," and I'm standing there the day God of War comes out. I'm standing there and I see Skull and Bones, Sonic, and God of War. Um, Sonic's out right away. Like I'm not even. I'm gonna like crush a copy of Sonic under my foot to kick it under the shelf while I'm picking up. And honestly, I mean, it was just a hypothetical. Like I'm picking God of War, but like Skull and Bones is even over it for me. But like that's gonna be one of those. I might wait and see how it gets reviewed and stuff first. But I mean, yeah, it seems foolish to put it out a day before what is being heralded as the game of the year. Like Horizon and Elden Ring, I know are up there. Stray's up there. Um, I don't think Pokemon will be up there, but like all year long, it's been this is the game of the year. Well, between Horizon and Elden Ring, it was like flip a coin. This is game of the year, unless God of War comes out. Then Stray came out, and it was like this might be game of the year unless God of War comes out. Like all these are just like we're the game of the year unless God of War comes out. Like, and then your Sega going, yeah, but we'll we'll still make a bunch of money and get good reviews. Like,
We got
I mean,
Sonic.
I mean, obviously, yeah. Like, I mean, I know this isn't based on like the sales, but like, I I don't know if reviewers are gonna take this into account. Like I don't. I feel like the review is well, considering that they decided to come out a day before the game of the year. It's not half bad, but I'm still gonna give it a 65 because it's not great. And like I feel like because I mean I know if you're reviewing like we try to do it, you're trying to be subjective and you're trying not to compare it to other games in that genre, and you're trying not to compare it to games that came out around the same time. But like you said, you got Skull and Bones and God of War coming out right then and there. Like it's gonna be hard to be like, well, this is a decent game, but it's not God of War.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, no shit. But yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just it's a little crazy.
I'm definitely not as limited you guys in terms of budget. Not saying I make more. Actually, DJ makes more, but he's got a brand new house, a kid, a wife. He's got all that responsibility. All Peyton and I have is just rent and utilities, and everything else is just like what we decide to spend on where. So I'm a little bit more free with the budget I can spend, and I will probably buy most, if not all, the games that comes out in between the last week in October and the first week of December, because that's also including Callisto Protocol. Now, whether I play them all immediately, probably not, which makes that purchase seem kind of dumb. But so, but yeah, still, even me, I'm like, I'm not buying Sonic Day One. I'll wait until sometime next year when I'm in a lull. It'll probably be cheaper then. Uh, hopefully, some of the problems that are probably going to be in the game are fixed by that point in time. So yeah, I'll wait. I don't give a shit. I clearly got other things to play. Like you said, Call of Duty, then God of War, followed up by 10 days after Pokemon, and then followed up very quickly after that with Callisto Protocol, which is a game you haven't mentioned yet. But man, everything I see of that game and everything I not just hear, but I guess I already said see. So everything I see and hear about that game, it could sneakily be in that game of the year conversation. Maybe throw it in my top 5. I know it's paltry to think about it, but maybe that game knocks out a Cult of the Lamb or a Stray for me in my top 5 because it is only 5 games. You got Horizon, God of War, Stray, Cult of the Lamb, um, Callisto Protocol. They're hanging in there, and then maybe something else. Maybe I fall in love with Modern Warfare 2. That sneaks in there. There's just a lot, and everyone says 2022 has been a down year, which I guess if you pull back and kind of look at some of the delays and what could have been, yeah, it's kind of been a down year, but also we're getting a lot of bangers coming out. Well, I guess hopefully bangers coming out in a very short time span. And like you said, people are limited. People don't have money to spend on everything. So like you said, you're sitting there on November 7th, 6th, deciding what you want to buy this week. You say you got your paycheck, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna go buy a game. And you're like, okay, I got Skull and Bones. Could be good. I'm not very confident in it, but maybe it catches an audience. You got Sonic and you got God of War. Like I would pause to think if anyone told me that 80% of the people in that scenario aren't buying God of War over those other two. So, whether you've been quiet for a while, what do you think about all this, man?
Uh, you guys best summed it up too much, really. Everything I would have said, for the most part. Um, I mean, I don't think Son. I think Sonic could just be average at least, hoping. But really, putting the release date in between all that is not smart at all.
Well,
And
Logan and I theorized there's only one of two options that could have happened. One being Sega sees the back room, and they know what this game is, and they say, look, this game may not be God of War, but this game is going to be a lot better than people think it is, and people are going to buy it, and maybe just play it after or play them both simultaneously. That is a possibility. I personally think it's a very small possibility, but and then on the second hand, you're sitting there, and you're like, look, we got to put it out. We got financial obligations that we have to fill, contractual obligations that we got to fill. It's got to come out this year. We put it out here, we got God of War. We put it out the week after, we got Pokemon. We put it out the week after that, we got this game called Callisto Protocol, which those two are definitely very different audiences, so not so much on that mode. And they're like, okay, well, what if we go before? It's like, well, if we put it before, we got Gotham Knights, New Tales from the Borderlands, and Call of Duty the week before. So there's not a lot of options. Honestly,
yeah,
like I said, this game should have either came out in the summer when we were slow, or just come out next year. But it probably can't come out next year because of those financial and contractual obligations. So that's what I think is the more likelihood is that Sega was just
hmm
stuck between a rock and a hard place and said, "Look, it's got to come out.
yeah.
We got to put it out. We'll fix it later, I
Look,
guess."
That's
guys,
So
the
guys,
hands
we
are
got to put
tied.
this out. We got to start on the next Mario Sonic at the Olympic Games.
yeah, hey, I love those games. All right.
They
All
are
right.
fun,
We've been
but
going on and
ridiculous.
on. We've been going on and on for a while. We haven't even got to the fourth counter
Yeah.
pick. We've kind of lost the plot here, but that's okay. I like talking about video games. So Mr. Worthy, also known as Bungie. Oh, the second Bungie. Might be some copyright issues having there. But Mr. Worthy, your current counter pick is Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which I personally think you are gonna lose out on some points on that counter pick. But here's your chance. Let's redeem yourself. What do you got, sir, for your second counter pick?
Uh, I'm going with Advanced Wars 1 and 2 remastered big camp.
Oh, he's being the dick now. He's being the douche. Wow. He's
Hey,
saying, look,
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. They announce it at their next showcase. That's my only hope. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be in the same boat. It's a very niche game, but like at this point, if it doesn't come out in the next like year, I'm just gonna go drop $100 and get it at the shop I seen it at.
yeah, so what is your thinking behind this? Are you hoping that it just gets delayed and you don't have to worry about gaining or losing any points, or do you honestly don't oh sorry,
Yeah.
do you honestly think it's not gonna be good?
No, I know if it comes out, it'll be good.
Okay.
I'm just hoping it
So
doesn't come
yeah,
out.
you're
I'm
just
thinking they'll get pushed back to March or April. It's one of the from the people, the YouTube channel I watch, they focus heavily on Nintendo, and they keep on talking about this, and they honestly think it's going to get pushed back until next year and release March or April. It's the reason they think it's because of oh uh, the Ukraine situation.
Yeah, I mean that does. I mean
Really?
that's
Hmm.
heavily impacted anything. Um, I don't know too much about the behind the scenes, what's going on with this game. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I do have to say, if it comes out, I'm fairly confident it's going to score fairly well for you, DJ. But yeah, this one just seems like Willie's like, all right, look, man, it's a 3-2 count, no runners on, down by 2, bottom of the ninth. I'm just fucking swinging. I don't give a shit.
And I
So
mean, like, hey, I don't fight you on this pick at all. Like, if I could drop it, I probably would have. I've been thinking heavily about it. Like, it was, do I take the egg on Hogwarts because I knew that was getting pushed back, and it's like, well, there's still a snowball's chance in hell that this does come out yet. So it was like, you know what? Let's hold on. We're gonna roll the dice, and I I actually figured that Mike or Logan were gonna counterpick this. I mean, Logan did come after one of my games. What did he come after? He came after Skull. Oh, he came after Skull and Bones or Sons of the Forest because that just got no. He came after Skull and Bones, right?
yeah,
Bones. Yeah.
Okay. So it was like I figured. I honestly coming into this, I thought it was gonna be one of you picked Skull and Bones, one of you picked Sons of Forest, and one of you picked Advance Wars. Like I thought you're all just gonna knock me down a peg because I rolled the dice heavy for
no,
some of those games on my list.
I made the decision that I wasn't gonna pick Advanced Wars 1 and 2 because I know you kind of got screwed over with the way the drop system we set it up this year. So I made a decision that I wasn't gonna do that. Not that it really matters because if it doesn't come out, there's not much you can do with the current drop system. But I was being nice. The 3 games that I had on my list was Skull and Bones. Obviously, the one I picked was Dragon Ball Breakers, and then that was awkward. My door opened. And then the last one I was going back and forth would be Star Ocean: The Divine Force. And it's coming from a JRPG guy. I like Star Ocean games, but they don't ever really seem to strike fire or hit the review scores really hard. So that was the other one I was going to come after. Those are my 3 going into it. So, but said Logan grabbed up Skull and Bones, so I went Dragon Ball. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, as old Bruce Almighty would say. Y'all remember that movie? That movie was fire.
Yeah.
I love that movie. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the final tally of the counter picks goes as this: useless Trivia Incorporated, owned and operated by Thor Kage, has Gotham Knights and Sonic Frontiers. Pony Boy Studios, owned and operated by yours truly, DJ Ike, has Dune, Spice Wars, and Dragon Ball The Breakers. The Game Pass, owned and operated by the Birdman himself, Logan B, has Redfall and Skull and Bones. And then following up, the I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna make a joke, but that joke slipped my mind. Bungie, owned and operated by none other than Pinball7563 himself, has Mario Rabbids Box of Hopes and Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you this one, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to say? Anything floating in them empty brain cells of ours before we head out of here?
Praying to the Nintendo gods, please let my game come out this year.
Oh, it. I'm ready for next year already.
He says, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna pack it in. But hey, you still got a good chance at third. You got I mean, Logan still has Last of Us coming in. That's gonna get him 18. But some of your games hit in the high 70s, low 80s, like Bayonetta, Gotham Knights. I think you're gonna score some good points in there. Who knows? Maybe you can push on old DJ there for second place in your first ever attempt. After all the hardships that Bungie has gone through this year, it could come out second place, or it could come out first. Who the hell knows? Maybe the Callisto Protocol gets a 58. Who the hell knows? Maybe God of War gets a 60. I don't know. That would suck. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our show. everyone who has either been watching or listening, we just wanted to take this time and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without your support, without your time, without your dedication, we could not be doing what we're attempting to do here at the Experience Point. But please help us continue to grow by telling everyone how awesome we are or how cringy we are by going to our Patreon pages, going to our YouTube pages, giving us some likes, giving those comments, maybe throwing some money our way if you have it to spend. Other than that, any last words, fellas?
No, just come on, Sonic, crap the bed and get a 69, and come on, Nintendo, release Advance Wars.
I say Dragon Ball. Let's get an 80.
Well, that would suck, but all right. As always,
Dragon Ball, get an 80, knock
Get
Mike
an
down
80.
a peg or two.
Yeah.
As always, we end the show with a shout out to our Patreon Platinum members, Mr. Logan Leffler. As always, each and every month, we appreciate you for supporting us here at the Experience Point. If you want to support us, like I said, go over to patreon.com. Check out all the tiers. If you want to get this show and all the other exclusive show, you can subscribe to either the bronze, silver, gold, or platinum tiers. And those come with a litany of rewards, including access to a pre-show where you can hang out with us dudes here at the Experience Points, talk about everything you want to do in video games or anything you are doing in video games, and also exclusive access to our Discord channel for all subscribers of any level. You guys can interact with each other over there and talk about everything that you love about the video game world. Other than that, I want to thank everyone for listening and following along our fantasy journey with us, and I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you guys in the next one Monday for episode 23 of the XP Podcast. See y'all later, and have a good week.